Welcome to Houston Newsmakers Extra. We're talking with Dr. Joseph Gathe, an infectious disease specialist who has been dealing with the COVID-19 issues within the African American community. Dr. Gathe, we're talking about the challenges and trying to make sure that we get people to get tested, and it's no excuse not to do it and keep social distancing. Is the treatment different for African Americans than it is for anybody else, or is it the same in terms of once somebody gets it, the treatment is pretty much the same?
Well, that's a good question. We unfortunately don't know what the treatment should be. But what I do know is that unless you know that you're tested and you're positive, you cannot even access the healthcare system to know what to do. While the treatments are not clear, people that are infected or exposed to the virus need to be followed in our community to see if some of the treatments that we have may be appropriate. There's some investigational studies in town. There's some other programs and treatment that we're looking at. But you don't know that you need them unless you're tested. Once you're tested, you need to connect with a healthcare professional interested in COVID-19 in order to see if you're eligible for any of the treatment programs. And while many of the physicians' offices are closed because of COVID-19, because of telemedicine, we are able to at least make house calls, for want of a better word, with Zoom and our computers in order to be able to interact. So it's important that not only we get tested, but we interact with a healthcare professional interested in COVID-19 to see if treatment programs are warranted for you.
You've been at this for a long time. How does this disease stack up compared to other diseases you've seen throughout your career?
Well, there are a lot of similarities to the HIV pandemic that I unfortunately had to deal with in the 80s. The difference in between that epidemic and this one is the rapidity of onset of this epidemic and the high contagiousness, if you will, for COVID-19. It's estimated that one person can infect 2 to 3 people with COVID-19 just by being within 6 feet of them. Fortunately, with HIV, it was much harder to catch. And so this one is accelerated because of the high contagiousness of the disease and because it can make people very sick very quickly.
Throughout the country, there's a need, or the president has said he wants to get the country back to work. How concerned are you about opening things up prematurely? I'm not making a comment about whether it is, but certainly those in your profession who deal with this, are you concerned at all about trying to open up too quickly?
Yes, I want to open up just as much as anyone else because, well, we need to be back to work, back to our jobs, supporting our community and our families. But we have to do it in some kind of organized fashion where we have access to testing. We know who's positive and who's not. Those that are positive, we have to make sure that they get into treatment so they can get well and stop spreading the disease process. And so the concern I have is that we need to have an organized infrastructure in our community in order to be able to go back to work safely. Unfortunately, we're not having, if you will, federal guidelines that are able to be done in our communities. And while Dr. Tony Fauci, who is a person I well respect, has given us some general infrastructure guidelines, we have to do that on a community basis. The good news is our leaders in our community, our mayor, our Sheila Jackson Lee, a lot of our political leaders, if you will, are helping us to get organized. And so it's important that we all sit together to get the structure right for our community so we can safely return back to our jobs, our schools, and our entertainment.
Dr. Gathe, thank you for what you do. I appreciate you taking the time with me today. And I know I don't have to tell you this, but stay safe, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
You do the same. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.